YouTube? Pittsburgh DJ Marty here. Filming another video today. I'm going to call it the Stay Alive Till 75 Years. Being a teenager when Armageddon comes. First, I'm going to do a little bit of what I'm going to call a disclaimer, because I know there's going to be people who say it was never said. The Jehovah's Witnesses were telling people that the end was coming in 1975. It'll be denied, but anyone who came through it knows better. Talks were given, congregations would talk about it. What kept me going through it all was knowing that I would be the one laughing in 1975. When those people were dying, I'd be under Jehovah's protective shelter, or so I thought. In the summer of '74, my non-witness side of the family had a family reunion. We went so we could see our relatives one last time before Armageddon came. It's a little more than a little morbid, but we really thought it was the last time we were going to see our relatives. I remember leaving there crying at the age of 13, thinking, this isn't right. This just isn't right. I'm not going to see my family again. Now, long story short, 1975 came and went. Had to wonder why my parents weren't as outraged in seeing what I was seeing, even at the age of 14. I realized that once you put all of your faith in one thing, right or wrong, it's hard to admit that you screwed up. But as far as the Jehovah's Witnesses went, any motivation I felt was pretty much gone. I started to think more like a worldly person than somebody who wanted to achieve in the Jehovah's Witness organization. My mom's cancer had progressed, and it wasn't getting any better. My dad, at this point, was a self-employed home improvement contractor. I'd work with him cleaning up, learning his trade, just to make a little extra money. With that, my parents became a little more moderate as far as controlling me. They sort of believed that if I was working during the summer, working a regular man's job, I could have a little more choice in what I did with my free time. Made a couple of worldly friends. Spent more time with them in the summers and on the weekends when my parents, they were thinking I was going to the pool or the library, but we weren't. Once everybody started getting driver's licenses, it allowed for more freedom, more ability to do things without your parents knowing what you're doing pretty much. Started to party a little, going to parties, taking a six-pack, going fishing, stuff like that. But I discovered who I really was, who I really wanted to be, what I really wanted out of life. The side that I had denied for so long was becoming too overpowering to ignore. There was a voice inside that says, you just want to be you. Let yourself be you. Now, excuse me, that opportunity came in 1977 because I got a real year-round job that had me working some meeting nights and doing things, not going out on field service, and it also introduced me to a whole new group of people who were my age. People who didn't know my past, didn't really know who I was, didn't know much about me. My parents couldn't really argue because the money that I was making went to buy my clothes, my shoes, stuff like that, because my mom's cancer treatments weren't cheap. Being a Jehovah's Witness and having somebody sick in your family really isn't conducive. Also, I started to reconnect with my family members, and all this happened, and I started to question everything that I believed in. To this day, I'd call myself a skeptic, as I'll never allow myself to be gullible enough to be taken by somebody. I was offered opportunities to pursue higher education, but my family still believed that Armageddon was still right around the corner. So, when you're a senior in high school, you're supposed to be doing all of this stuff, getting ready for college. I had 2 or 3 interviews with local schools, which were more sort of like trade schools, like an art school, things like that. And at that point, I still was under my parents' roof. so I couldn't do this on my own. Just one of those things where at the time it wasn't right. It actually took me over 20 years until I started getting a higher education. Never pursued higher positions at the Kingdom Hall, though, either. I would do things like I'd be the parking lot attendant. We had a parking lot attendant to make sure the cars were okay. I'd do mics when there was an assembly or whatever. I'd work in the kitchen. I'd do, quick build Kingdom Halls, stuff like that. Now, never aspired to be an elder or ministerial servant. Through what I was doing, I was meeting a lot of like-minded Jehovah's Witness kids who nobody even knew they felt like that because they'd only admit it to each other. And to be honest with you, I could only admit it to them also. I know a lot of them have left, are no longer Jehovah's Witnesses, but there's still a lot of them that are still hanging out in that comfort zone because they don't want to lose all their family and friends. The big thing is I learned you don't have to believe something just because someone else tells you it's true. Think about whatever your decision is to be made, compare it to what you feel, and you make the decision. That was something that until this age I couldn't really do. I did it on a very minor scale, but at this point I started actually becoming the man that I wanted to be somewhat. Now, realization also came that no one else is responsible for your actions except for you. So you should do the actions that you feel are right because you're going to be held to task for it either way. Just a very enlightening period in my life, and it taught me to look outside the box, which leads to my next video, which is going to be the seeds of apostasy are planted. Till then, Pittsburgh DJ Marty. Peace.